Hello everyone, I'm Raven from Raven Comics, and today we'll be looking at that time when Flash ran so fast that he even stepped out of time itself. We start with Wally West, better known as the Flash. At this moment, he's posing alongside Jay Garrick, Jesse Quick, and that kid they call Impulse. Also here is the attractive 40-something Iris West, Wally's aunt. She was married to his best friend and mentor, the late Barry Allen. Of course, this was after the crisis, and a while ago, she was in the future and learned many things, enough to know the end of all their stories. When Iris reunites with this group of speedsters, she doesn't feel so far away from Barry. Sometimes she can close her eyes and swear that he's still holding her in his arms. Iris enjoys these reunions, but because she's been in the future, she doesn't like to meet with anyone, as she might say too much. Linda, Wally's girlfriend, informs him that Captain Cold is offering an exclusive at the Flash Museum, so he'll have to leave for now. While she takes care of her reporter business, Jay Garrick and Wally West will handle their heroic activities. Batman has Gotham City, Superman has Metropolis. Jay Garrick takes care of Keystone City. Well, at least until recently. Jay has been expanding his base of operations. Jay Garrick was the first Flash, and Barry Allen thought he was the coolest guy on Earth. Everyone wishes they had a dad like Jay. While fighting crime, Wally tells Jay that he has serious plans with his girlfriend. In fact, 3 minutes ago, he bought a wedding ring and plans to propose tonight. After all, he has a great life ahead of him. They've finished today's crime fighting. Wally had promised himself that if he came to Keystone City, he would marry Linda. And well, here he is. Both Flashes take their leave. Later, we see Wally at his base of operations. Reports indicate too many weather anomalies, floods, thunderstorms, freezing temperatures, and more. So far, no victims have been reported. Investigating further, he realizes the climate changes are coming from Somalia. Seeing the satellite images, he realizes the weather wizard is responsible. All this time, the weather wizard has been altering nature so Flash would find him. And when he arrives, he'll deliver the biggest blow of his life. Flash immediately heads to the scene. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Max Mercury arrives with Jesse Quick. In the morning during their meeting, they had taken a photo. The strange thing is that in the picture where Wally is, there's a black blur in the air. That same blur appeared in the last photograph of Jesse's father before he died. Moreover, it also appeared in the last image of Barry Allen. It's likely that Wally will die tonight. Death has many faces, and this is the one it takes when it comes for a speedster. The Black Flash always waits for them at the end of the race. Maybe they shouldn't interfere with Death's business, but it's not like they can just sit back and do nothing. Back in Somalia, imagine the 4 seasons shaking all at once. Well, that's how it's been for the last 5 minutes with the Weather Wizard. Fortunately, Wally is skilled enough to fight these crazy weather conditions. The Weather Wizard tells him he's just made the biggest mistake of his life, and he's too stupid to realize it. Wally would love to stay all day, but he has a date at 8 o'clock at Costin Series. Besides, let's say he prides himself on his punctuality. Wally punches him and takes the wand he uses to control the weather, then breaks it in half. The wizard says his intention wasn't to hurt people. All he wanted was to do an experiment. He wanted to bring life back to this dead land. Artificially, he created the conditions to fix nature until Wally broke his nose. All he needed was a sunbeam. Wally asks if he was trying to revive the environment. The Weather Wizard says yes, and if he doesn't believe him, he can try it himself by raising the wand while thinking of the sun. Suddenly, a ray of sunlight strikes, and the goal is achieved. Finally, nature lives here again. This was a good deed. Therefore, Wally won't take the Weather Wizard to prison later. He returns to his city. Max and Jesse have been looking for Flash. Suddenly, Jesse manages to find him and tackles him from behind to stop him from moving forward. Wally asks why she's doing this. Max arrives with them. He was supposed to explain why they tackled him, but for some strange reason, the blur has disappeared. It means Wally will be safe. Flash doesn't understand anything they're talking about. Max knows that, in other words, the specter of death that was close to Wally has vanished. Maybe they managed to interrupt its plans. Flash says he was supposed to pick up Linda at 8 o'clock. 30 seconds ago. If death is no longer after Wally, then who is it after? Elsewhere, Linda is outside the Flash Museum. Suddenly, there's just a great lightning bolt. The Speedster's death just changed targets. Wally runs quickly to try to rescue his beloved. Unfortunately for him, he arrives too late. Linda has just died. Later on, we're at Linda's funeral. If there were any justice, this should be Wally's funeral. He's the one who should be in that coffin, but instead, it's his girlfriend who's in that sarcophagus. Well, actually, she isn't, because nothing of her was left, so it's empty. Death never leaves empty-handed. A lightning bolt is how everything ends and begins for Speedsters. The lightning gives them their powers and also takes them away. This is so incredible that Wally no longer even feels connected to the Speed Force. The funeral is full of heroes offering their deepest condolences. Well, Batman couldn't go because he's Batman, but even the villains have a few words to say. All the wonderful things they did together are left behind. The worst part is that he was about to propose to her. Suddenly, we see a couple arrive. These are Linda's parents. Mrs. Park slaps Wally. He's the one who killed her daughter. It was bad enough leaving her frozen and putting her up against these terrorists. Besides, she had already told her daughter that these kinds of things could happen if she stayed close to these freaks. This doesn't seem like her daughter's funeral. None of her friends are here. No one is talking about what she achieved. No one cares that Linda died. All that matters is that Flash's girlfriend died. After saying these words, the couple leaves. A month has passed since the tragedy. Wally decided to take some days off, and the other Speedsters are the ones taking care of the city. Although Jessie thought she would be doing this job temporarily, it seems this might actually be a full-time race. Wally knows that Jay Garrick sent her to talk. It's not like he arrived at his house and didn't see the sign outside. Wally is moving to Scotland. During the conversation, Jessie finds a ring. Wally tells her that he planned to propose. Maybe Jessie will give it a better use than he ever did. Jessie starts crying and tells him that she's very sorry about this, but all she wanted was for Wally not to leave this little family. After that, she runs off. A little later, Wally is at the airport. Bart arrives to try to stop him from leaving. Wally is determined. Suddenly, in the middle of the conversation, time stops. Time has halted, and he's trapped here without powers. This can only mean one thing. The Black Flash is in front of him. Wally isn't the first speedster to face death. Barry Allen, Savitar, and Johnny Quick have lost their races. No matter how fast you are, death always catches up to you. It seems that Wally was doomed to die weeks ago. Instead, his girlfriend died. The Black Flash is back to rectify the mistake it made. According to Max Mercury, the creature corrupts time when it enters this dimension. The chances of rescue are nil. The truth is, Wally is alone and powerless. The only thing Wally can do is slide down the baggage ramp. Although he knows that won't solve the problem, Wally has to think. His brain is the only thing keeping him alive at the moment. As he moves forward, it occurs to him to pretend to be one of the employees. Obviously, that won't fool the death of Speedsters. Out of nowhere, someone tells him not to turn around and to stay still. Jay Garrick has arrived just in time to save him. Max felt a disturbance in the Speed Force when death entered this dimension, and all the Speedsters gathered. They have to think of a way to trick death. Wally may not be wearing the suit, but he knows that thing won't stop until it kills someone. Jay leaves and locks him in a room. Max, Jay, and Jessie are here to face death. Jessie found Bart, but he's also frozen in time with the rest of the civilians. Maybe that's because he hasn't been connected to the Speed Force for long. The Black Flash throws blades at him, and Jessie manages to dodge them. Death now goes after Bart. Max intercepts and tries to distract him. If the Black Flash strikes Bart, it will be the end for him. Black Flash is about to reach his victim. Fortunately for Bart, he manages to arrive in time to save him. The battle has moved outside the facility. Jay Garrick and Flash crash into a truck, causing a massive explosion. Jay is still alive, but the Black Flash remains completely unscathed. The distraction tactics aren't working. A new plan is needed and fast. Containing him seems the only solution. Physical attacks have zero impact, but maybe there's somewhere they can trap him until they think of something. Wally regains his powers and starts running so that the Black Flash will chase after him. Whatever is coming for Wally, he's ready to face it. Is the Speedster's death really as fast as they say? According to this, no speedster can escape death. Well, it's time to run and put that title to the test. The background shifts every second as he crosses continents. Death follows him with every step he takes along the way. The Black Flash came for Wally and took Linda, but he swears he'll take down this thing before he lets it touch another person he loves. Wally runs at top speed, and as his opponent chases after him, he smiles because it can't catch up to him. The race has taken them 50 million years into the future. 800 million years later, he gets distracted for a moment, only to realize that the Black Flash has closed the gap a little. The Earth dies in the following 2 billion years. The planet was engulfed by its own sun. The only one left alive was a bearded man with shining red boots. The galaxy stops functioning and the stars cool down. 100 million years later, we're literally outside of time. This is the end of life, the universe, everything, where even death ceases to exist on a conceptual level. So goodbye, Black Flash. It's time to go home, but he knows that nothing makes sense if Linda isn't at home. He doesn't want another moment without her, nor does he intend to. But one way or another, they'll be together again tonight. Wally has returned to the present along with Linda. No one can believe he's back, let alone that he brought his girlfriend with him. He sneaked into the Speed Force to save Linda. The next day, Wally and Linda visit the cemetery. Here, he explains what happened on the day of her funeral. Last time, he couldn't tell her how he feels about her. But how about they get married and go to Paris for their honeymoon? Thank you very much for watching this video. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe for more content like this. I'm TJ Prime, and see you in the next video.